Yes, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Dynasty Hot Seat, the only Dynasty show out there that is a certified inferno. Today we are back with how to win Dynasty Fantasy Football Championships. If you've not seen this before, this is where I take a look at some of the championships that I've won this year, and I break it down step by step from the first draft that was made to the championship game. Every single move I made, every single trade I made that got me to a Dynasty Fantasy Football Championship. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. Please remember to leave a like and a comment and share the video if you've enjoyed it. And let me know what you think of some of the moves that were made. You'll see not all of them are actually, in hindsight, good moves, but they all got me to where I needed to be. So it shows you don't have to be flawless to execute a championship team. You just have to make some good moves. And hey, you need to get a bit lucky along the line as well. So if you are new here again, remember, please hit that subscribe button too. We're on a target towards 200. It'd be eternally grateful for me if you can, help me get there. So without further ado, let's pull up the screen here and we'll have a look at Sleeper. And here we go. To start with, I will tell you what my original team I drafted was, okay? Because Sleeper, for whatever reason, Sleeper doesn't really allow you to do that. So let me just pull up the original draft and I'll tell you the first team that I drafted. This is 2 years ago. This is 2021, whenever this draft happened. So the team I drafted, in hindsight, I'm pretty happy with it. You can see on the screen here the rookie draft. We'll get to that in a minute. You've probably noticed fumbled the ball on the rookie draft. But let's go through what I did. I had actually the 1-1 in the startup, but this is super flex. So let me just read you through the list of the draft picks I took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No trades here, so it just runs in that order, okay? So starting at the top, hey, who else? Patrick Mahomes, took him at the 1-1 2 years ago. Got to be happy with that. Absolutely loved it. Then we move on. J.K. Dobbins, Travis Kelce, T. Higgins, T.J. Hawkinson, Matthew Stafford, DJ Chark, Myles Gaskin, Dallas Goedert, Curtis Samuel, Sam Darnold, Alexander Madison, Gabe Davis, DJ Dallas, Sony Michel, Donald Parham, Rob Gronkowski, James Washington, Colin Johnson, Jacob Eason, Traquan Smith, Josh Oliver, Deontay Harris, JJ Taylor, and Colby Parkinson. So I just love how different drafts from 2 years ago seem now. Like those last, from rounds 18 through to 25, those guys are all off my team now, I'm pretty sure. Or at least they should be, right? And there's just no value at all. Scanning across here, looking at my iPad, looking at the other players taken around then, there's nobody really. A lot of these players are even out of the league. So shows you how quick Dynasty moves. And going into the rookie draft then, because I had the 1-1, I obviously had the 1-12 in the rookie draft, and I made the mistake that everybody makes and everybody made. I took Trey Sermon. Took Trey Sermon with the 1-12. Looking at who I could have had in that second round ahead of him, we could have had Mac Jones, a quarterback that would have been safe for Rashad Bateman. All of these guys. Even he'd definitely rather have Kenny Gainwell, Pat Freiermuth, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Elijah Moore. I mean, even there are probably some guys going in, the fourth round there, like a Tommy Tremble, who I would have rather had now than Trey Sermon. People in the third round, definitely like Ramondre Stevenson. So, I did okay in that initial startup. A rookie draft, fumbled the ball, guys. Did not do well there. So let's have a little look and we'll move over. I did not win the league this year. I did go 10-4 in this first season here, which I was pretty pleased with. So let's have a look at some of the moves I made. I'm really not happy with some of the moves I made. Okay, the first thing I did was pick up Tyler Heineke off free agency. That ended up being pretty good. He had a couple of good games there. I bought Denzel Mims for a second-round pick in 2022. Horrendous decision. I thought Denzel Mims looks really good. Looks like a big-body receiver. Can do the job. Hey, it wasn't to be. I'm getting rid of some people here off the team that we don't really need. I'm picking up some people on the team that didn't really make a difference here. Then I have a first trade. I decide I'm going to buy Calvin Ridley. This is before, everything. I bought Calvin Ridley for DJ Chark and a 2022 first. Pleased with that. But then, of course, everything happened with Ridley. We'll get to him later because I do end up trading him away. Pick up some people here that, again, didn't make too much difference to me. Then a nice trade. Same as the last episode, you'll notice I obviously went out and targeted a lot of people because I brought in Antonio Gibson. So I brought in Antonio Gibson, and this was the stage all the way back in 2021. I knew this 23 draft class, that's going to be a big, important year. So I started to try and gather those 23 draft picks 2 years before the actual draft is happening. Yeah. So I got Gibson. I got a first. I give up Sam Darnold, who was red hot, if you can remember, right? At the start of that year, all those rushing touchdowns. Yeah. Give up some Sam Darnold. This is kind of before the season started, I think. But Sam Darnold got a lot of praise. Was looking like he was going to be a big player and a quarterback. And I also go to Myles Gaskin, he was getting a bit of hype. Great deal there. I was super pleased. I also managed to pick up Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, thought he would be a good, solid quarterback for a second and a third. I'm actually still pretty pleased with that. You know, a late second and a late third for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think in a super flex league, that's all right. Then you can see I got rid of some people, pick up some people, including this guy right here. Look at that, Khalil Herbert off the waivers. That turned out to be a very good move. He really helped me out in some tricky spots with injuries. Here you can see Tyler Heineke, who I did pick up for free, got an offer for 2 seconds. More than happy to oblige for that for Tyler Heineke. And then you can see here, yeah, some people coming in, coming out, like Will Fuller, Jamal Agnew, Zach Pascal. Little moves like this, you need to take a chance on. They don't always work out, you know. Here, I used those 2 firsts, remember, from Tyler Heineke. I dropped in Will Fuller, played those 2 firsts, brought in a guy I really believed in Michael Pittman Jr. Delighted with that in hindsight. Obviously, Michael Pittman Jr. worth, you know, first round picks now, obviously. I think Will Fuller in 2 seconds, which turned out to be, you know, okay picks. Delighted to get Michael Pittman for there. Picking up guys like Zay Jones, Devonta Foreman. You know, that was, I imagine, around the time that the Derrick Henry injury happened. And then Devonta Foreman, everyone was talking about who's it going to be. Is it going to be, you know, Hillard? Is it going to be other people? Listening to a couple of podcasts, Devonta Foreman, he was the guy that fit the bill. So I picked Foreman up off waivers everywhere. And yeah, turned out good because he was a really good player for the stretch at the end of that season. And that's it. The highlights there, Michael Pittman Jr., I think. That's the best thing I did. I'm getting that 23 first and Antonio Gibson too. Was really pleased with that. Finished the year at 10-4. Made it to the playoffs. Lost in the final. Hey, these things happen, right? So if we then have a look at what the rookie draft looked like, you can see here, didn't have a lot of picks, traded a lot of them away, lost out in Rashad White and George Pickens, bit gutted, losing out in George Pickens, one of my favorite players, but used that to get Michael Pittman Jr., so I'm still pretty pleased with that overall. Then you can see here, we did pick up Calvin Austin, who obviously just got injured, and as well picked up Daniel Bellinger, one of my most owned players in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Really like the look of him. He was my favorite tight end coming out of that class, even ahead of guys like Dulcich and Trey McBride. Love Daniel Bellinger, have a lot of him. Really pleased with how his career is looking out. So Daniel Bellinger was a great pick there in the 4th round. And then we transition to the championship year. Some of the moves that I made in this championship year. Let's have a little look and see. We started off, I told you earlier, sold Calvin Ridley. Brought up in return, we got Julio Jones, Davis Mills, a 4th and a 3rd for Calvin Ridley. This was at a time I kind of needed a quarterback to back up. I was really sure, you know, that Davis Mills was going to be able to take that step up. I needed a starting quarterback. I was overexposed to Calvin Ridley. This is a bad trade, I think. I would take this one back if I got the chance. But at the same time, Davis Mills got me out of a hole in certain situations here, so I was pretty pleased. Then we make some moves, you know, people dropping. You know, this is usually what happens at the start of a season. You drop a lot of people. Then here, look at this, guys, right? 23 firsts or 23 firsts here. Looking pretty good. What happens? I end up trading away Travis Kelce and a 2023 third. I trade away Travis Kelce. What was I thinking? But I did get Devonta Smith and a 23 first. Oof. That's a tricky one. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about that? Is that a good deal? I think that's a good deal. It's very close, though. Travis Kelce, obviously, you know, I'm a Chiefs fan. I love Travis Kelce. But that value was there with Smith and a first. I still am on the fence if that's a good one or not. So let me know what you think about that. Devonta Smith, huge part of why I won the championship this year. So again, I'm happy. But yeah, Kelce, he's a hard guy to trade away, right? Then we pick up some people like Khalil Shakir, who's coming out there. Dearness Johnson, I really like that. Him could have a big year next year. Who knows? Deion Jackson obviously was relevant for a little while last year whenever JT went down. Then we're doing little things like I managed to pick up Elijah Moore for a third as that value dipped. I think I offered in every league Elijah Moore for a third. I got a bite here and there. What a great deal. Elijah Moore started coming on towards the end of the year. Delighted with that. If we look here, I then made sort of a big move. I decided I was in a position where I can definitely win this year in this league. So I went out and I bought me some Derrick Henry. What I did was I got Derrick Henry and a third that was projected to be a late third, I believe. But I did pay the piper. I had to pay a 23 first, which is, as we know, going to be 112, a 24 second, and a 24 fourth for Derrick Henry, and an early 23 third. That was the move that pushed me over the line. Derrick Henry really helped me push on in that league. So I was really pleased with that. Don't like giving up 23 firsts, obviously. But I like championships more than I like first, guys. That's something you got to get in the mindset of, really is. What's more important, winning a championship or getting more draft picks? It's winning a championship. So those are moves you got to make. Then tight end was a problem. Obviously, I traded away one of them. But I don't know how I managed to get this done. Cole Kmet, I think this was before he sort of took fire. I got Cole Kmet for a second and a fourth. I'm very pleased with that. I think losing Travis Kelce, getting in a guy like Cole Kmet really fills that role. Obviously not as well as Travis Kelce, but getting that value on Cole Kmet, very pleased with that. He's as a guy I'm happy to start at tight end moving forward. Then, a couple of guys in and out that aren't really important, but then Brock Purdy, right? Got to be on the ball. I said this in the last video. You got to be super, super, super on the ball and get in there early for these guys like Brock Purdy, who you can get for free, because you might be able to go ahead and trade them down the line later, like I did whenever I picked up Tyler Heineke, traded him for 2 seconds, and used those to flip him, turn it into Michael Pittman. So you're getting Michael Pittman at a huge discount because those picks are things that you're essentially getting for free. If you've seen a second-round pick on the waiver wire, you take it. So think about it as that, as players that can turn into picks that you can get for free. Yeah. So take people, even though you might not need them, take them and sell them. Yeah. Get whatever value you can, but you got to be on the ball to do that. So you need to be constantly checking your league, know what time your waivers go at, and be ready to put in some bids. Yeah. Here we make another move here. What I did is I picked up Ezekiel Elliott. Again, needed some running back help. And we talked about it. I was annoyed I missed out on him. I don't miss twice, thankfully. I got George Pickens. What I do to give up that is I give up Gabe Davis, a third, and a 2025 first to get Pickens and Elliott. Again, very happy with that. I'd much rather George Pickens over Gabe Davis. Ezekiel Elliott filled in that running back gap that I needed to get down the stretch. And a 25 first, giving that away. Whenever you're in contention to win, you can't be afraid to give away your first, especially if they're down the line. So very pleased with that going forward. And that was the last kind of move I made. So what I want to do now is remind you of the team I drafted. Okay. And then I'm going to read out the last team that played for me. So here's a reminder of the team that I drafted. This is 2 QB. Sorry, not super flex. I said it was super flex, 2 QB. So the team I drafted was Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford in quarterback, J.K. Dobbins and Myles Gaskin at running back. We had T. Higgins, DJ Chark, and Curtis Samuel at wide receiver. 2 tight ends, Travis Kelce, T.J. Hawkinson. Then 2 in the flex spot, which was Dallas Goedert and Alexander Mattison, with people like Gabe Davis, Sam Darnold, and a bunch of guys, basically, sitting on the bench. All right, so remember that, because this is the team that started the championship game. Pat Mahomes and Brock Purdy, Ezekiel Elliott and J.K. Dobbins, Michael Pittman Jr., Zay Jones and Devonta Smith, T.J. Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert, George Pickens, T. Higgins. Yeah. Then we get Davis Mills, Mac Jones, Khalil Herbert, and all these guys, Derrick Henry, sitting on the bench, right? So pretty pleased overall. I think, did I just call Dallas Goedert just another guy whenever I drafted him? He was sitting on my bench. No, he was in my flex spot, sorry. So yeah, Dallas Goedert was on the team. So that kind of shows you how I was able to sell Travis Kelce, right? I had Hawkinson. I had Goddard. I brought in then Cole Kmet at the end to really shore it up. I've got people like Garoppolo and Stafford sitting on injured reserve. I've got 2 2023 firsts coming up. I got my 2024 first. I'm pretty pleased overall. So I don't think there's anything special in there, guys. I think it's just being active, just making moves when you can, constantly be sending out trades. That's the best advice I've got for you. You don't have to be groundbreaking. You don't have to do anything special. You just have to be on the ball. You got to be a bit lucky sometimes as well. And you can't win every trade. I would say out of all the trades that I made there, I'm happy with half. I'm not happy with half. You just got to get back on the horse and keep going with it. So there you go. That's how I won a Dynasty Fantasy Football Championship, right? Nothing special, I don't think. So hopefully some of it helped, though. We'll be back next week with another edition. In the meantime, remember, like, comment, share this around if you can. Leave a comment. What did you think of some of those trades? The Devonta Smith, Travis Kelce one, that is the one I would like to know about the most. So did I pay too much there? Is that a trade that you would have done? Let me know what you think. And if you have enjoyed it, remember, hit that subscribe button as well. It really helps. On the march to 200 subscribers. That'll be absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for joining in this week. We'll see you next time.